Happy Spiritual Sunday to you all, and welcome back to another episode of Spiritual Sunday. Another opportunity for us to be inspired by the wisdom of Kabbalah, to be empowered by the tools and the technology of Kabbalah, which all add up to a shift in our consciousness, away from the chaos, the pain, the suffering, the repetitive patterns that we found ourselves not only in this lifetime, but carried over from one lifetime to the next, until we achieve our mission, our goal, our purpose in being in this world, which is simply to live in peace and harmony, experiencing manifest blessings that the Creator gave us, that with the free will we were given, those blessings, that potential that already exists inside of us, is up to us to decide when and how quickly and what path we'll take to make them manifest. Person has to ask themselves, do they want the way of pain and suffering to drive them ultimately to act like the light 24/7? Or do you want to avoid the pain and suffering and exercise free will against the opposition, challenging force of ego, self-centeredness, illusion, fragmentation, the quick fix that we're all tempted to go for when a challenge occurs, when something that awakens or makes us feel uncomfortable? That opposition force, the ungodlike force, will perceive separation. They are doing it to me. Why are they doing it to me? And therefore, when a person listens to that AI program in the head, it's instant fix, instant gratification. How can I stop this discomfort now? Forgetting long-term effects, long-term consequences, but only seeking instant and unfortunately only temporary relief from that uncomfortable, painful situation. But as you and I learn in the Kabbalah Center from Kabbalah 1 forward, we can only escape chaos, pain, and suffering voluntarily with actions of uncomfortable, transformational sharing. Being, or let's say, stepping into the darkness, facing our own negative reactive behavior, and then shining light, our God-given light from our heart and soul, consciously shining a beam of that light out into this darkness that we moved into because we want long-term peace, harmony, joy, experiencing all manifest blessings by the exercise of our God-given free will. And so I wanted to share with you what I opened up to, Karen's book, Simple Light. And she writes like this: there is only one way to respond to anger, and that is to learn how to be proactive, taking the situation to another level. It means that when another person is angry, we don't take on their anger. We pause for a second and say, I might be right or I might be wrong. Let's see how we can talk this thing through. In this way, we are walking away, both physically and emotionally, from the other person's reactivity. When we think reactively with our ego, arguments occur. But if we are proactive, there can be no argument because our ego is not involved. So, in a short way of saying that, don't take things personally. Because the moment you or I take something personally, number one, it's the lowest level of behavior. It's spiritually not true. As Karen often said, things happen for us, giving us the opportunity to express on a higher level our God-given abilities, shining our God-given light into the world on now a higher level that allows us to experience less chaos, less anxiety because we've moved to a higher spiritual level, and greater blessings because on that higher level we are shining greater light than we were before facing and transforming through that situation. We drew on the higher level of our soul, if you know the term, the neshama, which is relative to us, is that pure and perfect light being within us that the Creator created. So, let's say together our affirmation, engraving deeper, impressing deeper in our heart and our soul this truth and the strength to apply it on a higher level today and every day moving forward. Together, consciousness is everything. I raise my consciousness today to see the miracles and wonders of life. I commit myself to behave with greater love, compassion, and kindness towards all human beings. Because the Creator of all, the infinite Creator, is perfect, then that infinite perfection can only create, manifest perfect creations. Therefore, you and I, we are already perfect beings of light. This world, as we read in the simple story, was created as a Garden of Eden, heaven on earth, perfection, peace, harmony, unity, love, lasting fulfillment. Meaning, order is already in existence. Order is the original form of this world, and perfection is our true nature and the nature of every human being on earth. And therefore, whatever you and I are looking for, whatever we together look at the world and say, we need a solution for the pain, the suffering, the chaos that's going on today, it already exists. Anything that we've come to call an invention. The car was invented. Cell phones were invented. Even the horse and buggy was invented. All those inventions are not creations. They are nothing new. They have all existed since the Big Bang creation of this physical universe. What's happened was, when the Big Bang happened, the things that we consider inventions because we'd never seen them before, and suddenly we now see them, it's only because from the Big Bang up until that moment, the physical scientific laws and the resources, whatever the materials necessary for those things, they were hidden from our view. Not that they didn't exist. Everything, the scientific laws and the physical material that make up a cell phone have been in existence since the Big Bang. But you and I, from the 1% physical material world, couldn't see it. Science came along and slowly we're uncovering the laws of science to be able to put together the materials that were already in existence, put them together in the right order, in the right way, to make a cell phone. If you open up your cell phone and you disconnect one tiny wire, the cell phone doesn't operate anymore. But if you have 99.9% of everything in place, but that one wire, it's still not going to work. And therefore, for us, means the same thing. Everything we're looking for. Right now, we, from our point of view, have not uncovered the light of the Creator in us. We have not uncovered our eyes from the spiritual blockages to be able to see not only the opportunities we are being given, but to also see and perceive the light in me, the light in us, and take away the veils and curtains from our eyes to see the light in other people. As we do that, as Karen said, we will not take it personally. We will not allow our ego, why me, blame and victimization to get in the way to make us take it personally. Take. If you don't want it, don't take it. Stop taking it personally. So I want to share with you what, in my opinion, is becoming more and more essential in the world today for, as we'll see, the true survival of humanity, to be able to escape more chaos, more pain and suffering, that's only there to provide people with a awakening to seek out the solution by means of the light of the Creator that is already existing in them, that has been hidden from their awareness, their sight, but is the purpose of being in this world. To be like the Creator and shine light 24/7 unconditionally. So when we entered into this world, as some people would say, human beings, if you have children, when they're born, they don't come with an instruction manual. But the perfect Creator would not leave us in a world without an instruction manual. How to live life, the purpose of life, etc. And so we've been given it. Most people consider the Bible, the 5 books of Moses, that guidebook. And basically, religions have been created out of a interpretation of those 5 books. If you read them in and of themselves, you will find many things that are directly contradictory to each other, and things that on a physical, literal level, we already feel we would not want to do, that they are terribly negative, destructive behaviors. So the Zohar comes along as the soul energy. The 5 books of Moses, like the body. The Zohar connected to our soul. And just like we in human life, we often say things like, you don't judge the book by its cover, right? Things like that. In other words, you look at people and we almost automatically, from the human side of us, have a judgment on them. They must be like this, they must act like that, they've got to be this kind of person, whatever it is. And then as you pierce through, even in the simple level of humanity, you pierce through that initial judgment, you get to know them or whatever, and you realize, oh my God, they're very different than I've perceived who or what they are from their outside covering. And so too, the Zohar tells us that the 5 books of Moses is a code. It's written to hide, if you will, buried treasure of the spiritual technology of the universe that is universal for everyone without exception. It's hidden inside. And so the Zohar, being the soul's energy, the eternal energy, gives us a way of understanding, seeing through the outside of the literal words of the Bible, to understand the technology that these people were using or misusing that are applicable to us today, because the laws of the universe do not change. They don't suddenly change because we decide they should change. Universal laws are universal laws from the beginning of creation to the end of creation. How people use, misuse them, perceive them, deny them, that's people's free will. But it doesn't change the universal laws. A person could think that they're the smartest, greatest, best person on earth. But if they dial their telephone, the last number incorrect, the phone will not give them the person they're seeking, no matter who they are. Technology is exact. What the Kabbalah Center is teaching us from the true, authentic understanding and wisdom of true Kabbalists, that the Zohar is teaching us that spiritual technology is also exacting to the ultimate detail. Ultimate. Simple terms. The full moon of Aries, in the Big Bang, the full moon of Aries was an infusion of light force of the Creator that, when accessed by people, which is our free will, to access or not, when we access it, it's the power in our lives today to be able to have the awakening of the light inside of us, and therefore the strength and the consciousness to overcome our selfish obsessions, compulsions, addictions, bondage to the physical, material world. Bondage. We're supposed to live in the world, but not in bondage to it. That's where addictions are destructive bondage to something in the physical world. The gym, business, substances, drama, victimization, anger, jealousy, greed. People can be addicted to those things related merely and only to the 1%, and therefore be destructive. Because the only source of lasting, true eternal fulfillment is the revelation of the light of the Creator from within us, shining it out. So let's imagine, and actually, unfortunately today, we don't have to just imagine. Look at the world. The world basically, we could say, is filled worldwide with hatred and violence. What's the solution? Okay, so what do a lot of people want to do? One, minimally argue with everybody else to try and prove their point of view to the other person who's trying to prove their point of view. And if nobody is willing to, as Karen said, let go of the ego, let go of taking it personally, then those two opposite, opposing opinions, perceptions, will constantly be battling and battling and battling and battling. Because nobody's going to give in, as we read, even to the thought, maybe they're right, maybe I'm right. Let's go to a higher level and let the light show us the way. And so, in the 1%, people want to fight and argue. They want to put people in jail, lock them away, or worse, kill them, get rid of them, get them out of the world. Because they think that will bring them peace. It will, for 5 minutes, and then they'll find something else and someone else to fight with. That's the way it's been going. Look at the world today and just look back. 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 100 years. That's the way this world operates. This physical material world. When people caught up in it, it basically, as the Kabbalists teach us, it'll be eternal chaos. Eternal chaos until we bring the light from above to take the darkness away, reveal the truth, the original order, harmony, and the solutions that we're looking for, that when applied, we will feel, we will manifest infinite blessings, lasting joy and happiness and peace and prosperity, all the good things. So, what's the cause and effect? If you look at all the people acting in violence, hatred, animosity, resentment, etc., why do they keep doing it? Because, as we learn from Kabbalah 1 forward, as we learn in simple idea of cause and effect, what goes around comes around. So if they happen to win temporarily that argument and just browbeat the other person into backing off, instant gratification, but what's the effect? Another person, another challenge to confront them again until they realize, let go of the ego. Don't take it personally. Shine light and ask, meaning open your heart and soul to the solution that comes from the soul, from the light of the Creator in us. Because that solution will be good for everyone. Everyone. Drawing on the light, like we said, is uncomfortable, but brings lasting solutions. So let's go to the Bible and see how the same thing happened thousands of years ago. And let's learn. Isn't that what history is supposed to be for? To learn from? So we go back to the beginning of the Bible, Noah's flood, the flood of the world. It says in the beginning of that story, even in the literal Bible, the world was filled with hatred and violence. And then came what? The flood. It was not God's thought. It was not God's idea. It was simply cause and effect. The world was filled with hatred and violence. Like I like to explain it, the world was dirty, and therefore the effect was the cosmos had to shower water, cleansing energy to remove the pollution, the dirt. Well, how do you wash your dishes? How do you clean the dirt from them? You flood them with water. The water takes away the dirt and you restore the original cleanliness and perfection of your dish or your glass or whatever it is you're washing. The story goes on that this man Noah was told by God to build an ark. Given the dimensions of the ark, etc., how to build it, and all of that. But like my teachers, the Rav and Karen, always explained to us, if you think about a flood, worldwide flood, could a wooden boat survive? Like the Rav used to say, the Titanic couldn't survive an iceberg. Other boats, huge ships, tossed over, capsized by various tidal waves, etc. So a flood of the entire world, the wooden ark could not survive. So what the Kabbalists explain, again, going into the code, that the dimensions correspond to spiritual energies that Noah was taught by the Creator to bring, let's say, as he was building the physical ark, but surround it with various dimensions. If you're familiar with the term, the sphirot, the 10 sphirot of the tree of life. He drove on that energy, and not only then had the physical ark, but had, if you will, a light protective force field that allowed it to survive the flood. Now, if you have the Zohar at home, you can look for yourself. In the section of Noah, verse 205, it simply says that the ark was the energy of the Holy Spirit, the Shekinah, a spiritual force field of protection that provided survival through the destruction of the world. Now, a few Kabbalistic secrets. Noah was told by God, build the ark. He was also told, tell people the flood is coming and they better change their ways from hatred and violence to whatever, kindness, compassion, like we speak about. He warned them, according to the Zohar, the Kabbalists, for 300 years. Now, you take that in simple terms. So imagine somebody today were to say, the flood is coming, the flood is coming. And a year, 2, 5, 10, nothing. How many people do you think would have believed Noah, or would believe people today who are creating or are saying that same warning? After some period of time, even think, you and me, would we really believe after 5, 10, 15 years, 100 years? Would we believe? Sure, But it was coming. Noah was building the physical ark for 120 years. So the first, if you look at it, first 180 years, he's warning people. People aren't changing. Why? What reason do they see? Nothing going on. Had Noah said the flood is coming, and let's say in a week, suddenly dark clouds and the rain, and it starts getting more intense, they might have believed him. But 180 years, nothing. They didn't believe. They didn't feel with their heart the light coming from him, from those words, empowered by the light of the Creator. And the flood came. Now, for you and I, those people correspond to you and me. Our egocentric desire to receive oneself alone, the guilt, the anger, resentment, blame, victimization, greed, judgment, jealousy, etc. That's what those people represent. Because even though they're temporary fulfillment, people still like to hold on to it because it's comfortable, it's familiar. Noah represents our connection to the light, listening to the voice of the light within us, listening to our soul, and reminding ourselves why we left the endless world, to imitate the Creator and shine light 24/7. 24/7. Now, just to give you a little more secrets, there were giants on the planet at that time, And as the waters started to flood from above, and the Zohar says holes open in the earth and hot water was coming up, these giants, like you and I, thinking we're smarter and more powerful than the Creator, the giants thought, well, we're big, we'll put our feet on the holes and stop the water from coming. And we'll reach up and we'll cover the holes this way, so we'll stop the water from coming. Well, they may have been able to hold the cold water from above, but what the Zohar says, the water from below became boiling water and therefore took the flesh off their bones and they ultimately died. Let's remember we are not more powerful than the light of the Creator. We are not capable to solve problems, remove darkness without the light of the Creator. Let's learn from that. So as it says, the flood came, the world was destroyed, Noah and his family and the animals survived. Was that the end of pain, suffering, and death? No. Because we know essentially all those souls had to come back again in order to do their tikkun, it's called, correction on the mud covering their soul. And you look at history, the Tower of Babel, Sodom and Gomorrah, all the rest of the destruction and the chaos that's happened from then till now. So we haven't learned our lessons. Yes, there's more spiritually awakened people of late because there is a deadline to when we will achieve our mission, have to achieve our mission. And as we've often shared here in Spiritual Sunday, and if you're learning in the center, the closer that deadline comes, the more intense, concentrated the inner ramblings of spiritual awakening and desire for the light, at the same time, an inner concentration of all the negativity that people have carried for all these generations and lifetimes. And that's why we see the world in the worldwide chaos. If you didn't believe the Bible, just look at the world today. There is hatred and violence throughout all the world. There is chaos all over. Look at individuals. People are having chaos not just in one area of their life, but because we're so close to the end and the light is getting brighter every day, therefore the chaos, which we know you and I, individually and collectively, are the creators of life, of our world. So if a person sees chaos in their life, it's because they've living from the inner chaos and turmoil, and they're just manifesting it through words, thoughts, and actions. And therefore, as all the mud from hundreds of lifetimes coming up, most people are just expressing it and letting it take form on the outside. So it is literally worldwide chaos. And in an individual life, it's 360 degrees of chaos. Their business, their family, their health, relationships, friends, whatever it may be. Because it's always been, but now more clearly perceived, each of us are the center of our universe and the creator of how it looks. Because what's inside is projecting out. Therefore, you and I want to use this technology that we're learning in the center here on Spiritual Sunday also, how to let light shine out of us, how to transform the thoughts of negativity and anger and hurt and judgment, blame, into love, kindness, and compassion to all human beings on a higher level than it was yesterday. And therefore, removing the darkness, revealing more of our blessings. And so, history repeating itself. If now the world is filled with hatred and violence around the world, where's the ARK? Where's that same ARK of protection that Noah and his family used back then which we mentioned in the beginning is a spiritual technology he made use of to draw the light of the Creator in the various levels of the sfirot, the transformers of light, to create a protective shield. In the physical world, a spiritual protective shield to protect Noach and his family from the flood, allowing them to survive. Today, and if you think about it, those of you who know the center, the point of the Kabbalah Center, from its spiritual founding, let's call it, when Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai put the Zohar in writing, was the beginning of what we know to be the Kabbalah Center, to its more direct founding a little over 100 years ago with Rav Yehuda Ashlag. The purpose, the mission of the center is to bring the ARK to every human being on earth. Because one, the spiritual awakening that the flood is here, not even coming, is here, and the awakening to want to be on the ARK, to emanate enough light in enough ways to be in a sphere of light, which is the only protection from the darkness and the chaos of the world. We want to be in that ARK. And so even if you think of that, even simply relative to the story, okay, you could almost imagine, this huge ARK could fit a number of animals and Noach and his family. But how are you going to create a physical ARK that has the capacity for 8.5 billion people? Can't. But it's not necessary. What you and I need to create or manifest today is that spiritual ARK, because that can be worldwide, because the light of the Creator is infinite. It's only from our point of view, we have to let from within us be emanated enough light to have that sphere of protection. And again, go back to the Zohar itself. If you have a Zohar, look up verse 88 in the section of Balotcha. And in simple terms, it says, the ARK is the Zohar. The Zohar is the protective shield. And this is why we often talk about, and I'll do it again today, but just a quick reminder, have them around you. Pocket-sized Zohar you could put in your purse, your pocket, your briefcase, your car, everywhere you go, your children's backpacks, under their bed, whatever. Let the light shine. You have sacred Zohar, all of the Aramaic of the entire Zohar. You can put in your house. You can gift to police stations, fire stations, community centers, hospitals, whatever organizations that you can find that will accept the gift of the infinite light that's channeled through the Zohar. The Zohar is Noah's Ark. That is possible to bring to the world. Ultimately, our mission, spread enough Zohar that the light is so bright, no more darkness. That's it. You wake up the consciousness of people. From Adam and Eve, which are all of us, we were all pieces within the beings called Adam and Eve. We were all parts of that, if you will. We were all organs or cells within that spiritual body of Adam and Eve. From that moment that we disconnected from the light of the Creator by choosing the tree of knowledge, good and evil, we are the ones who started the flood. We started death, pain, and suffering. We started chaos. We enhanced the illusion that any challenge comes along is against me, is being done to me, not for me, not for my benefit to be able to pay back my spiritual debts, reveal more of my light by paying that debt with the spiritual light from inside me to that next highest level. And the illusion got stronger because those two people got divided like physical cells. Who are we? We started as, on a physical level, one cell of egg, one cell of sperm, and they multiplied into trillions of cells that make up each individual body. So in a similar way, those two beings, Adam and Eve, they just split, so to speak, into the 8.5 billion pieces that were within them, but we're all connected, as I often remind ourselves. We're only one soul. There's one spiritual internet that we're all connected with. And therefore, we're impacting every person on earth every minute of every day, and they're impacting us. So self-protection is to shine light constantly out into the spiritual internet so that less and less of everybody's even little pieces of negativity will reach me. If I'm sending more light out, then the darkness can't come in. And you and I, meanwhile, we still have our human side till we reveal all of our divinity. So even if people are just putting a tiny bit, a little bit of frustration, a little bit of jealousy, a little bit of insecurity out onto the spiritual internet, that's 8.5 billion pieces. That's basically each person being hit with 85 metaphorical $1 million of frustration, impatience, judgment, what have you. This is why the Zohar is essential. One, we said it's the ARK, which means as you're scanning and shining the light and you're spreading the Zohar out there, then your one thought is empowering or empowered, let's say like 1,000, 20,000, 100,000 particles of light. It's enhanced the same way. How do we travel faster than on foot? Well, use the mechanism, the machine of a bicycle, a motorcycle, a car, a jet, a spacecraft. It's still carrying us from one place to the next, just faster. So the world, and the point of the center, especially now, we want to accelerate the transformation of people, the waking up of the Creator and the thoughts of greater love, kindness, and compassion, forgiveness, apology, tolerance, generosity, humility, gratitude, appreciation. Accelerate the speed at which light is going worldwide, will accelerate the dissipation and the disappearance of darkness and the revelation of all the blessings. It's a very simple idea. Spread Zohar wakes up the consciousness within us. Use it yourself. Those of you who have it, think about how your life is transformed. Look for how it has, how you've become kinder, how you've handled previously reactively responding to something. You've been a little more proactive, a little bit more of the pause. I'm not going to take it personally. I'm just going to shine light, even if I walk away after that. But I've walked away shining light. The chaos is worldwide. I don't think any of us would doubt that. The world is again flooded with negativity. Only this time, we want to learn from history. We want to build that ARK, the ARK that will protect all people by the spreading of the Zohar around the world. As we used to say, a Zohar in every house. Because the Zohar, channeling the infinite light of the endless, is waking up the light of God inside every person. And as that's happening, that awakening that's happening, give us a sensation, the beginning of a feel, an experience of the light of God inside of us, the power of the light of God and its blessings. Because the Zohar's light purifies the thought, removes the clouds of darkness that have allowed people to stay in their chaos, justify their chaos, see evidence of the reason for their chaos. And as the light is awakening, we come to remember the light is our only source of lasting fulfillment. And we want to connect to the light in every human being because, Yes, in the big picture, the light is the solution to everything. In our world, the reason this physical world was created, that the light will give us solutions. One, by our individual channeling it out into the world, but also as you send light from your heart and soul, as we do every week with our meditation, which we will do today, you're contacting, plugging into the light in the soul of every person, and in the light of somebody on earth is the solution to your confusion, to your difficulties, to your chaos. But only when you access that light, that solution, can it come to you, be manifest in your life, be applied in your life. And therefore it's to our benefit to plug into the souls of people. Wouldn't you rather be connected to the soul of somebody who's acting negative, to the light in their soul, rather than be connected to their negative behavior? It's only one or the other. There's no middle ground. A person, you and me, either connected to their spiritual mud, their negative behavior, or with our work to pierce through the mud by sending a beam of light to their heart and soul. Not only are they having an awakening, but we're also connecting to the power of the light, the solutions of the light, the blessings of the light, the support of the light, to give us strength to transform our chaos to order, to transform our anger to compassion and understanding, our jealousy to gratitude, appreciation, our blame, victimization, to taking responsibility and actions of greater love, kindness, and compassion, to take our sense of lack and poverty into the behaviors of greater generosity. That sense of ego, I need to protect me because nobody else is, into trust in the light. And as we're all shining more light into the world, to the heart and soul of every human being, then we're removing the hell on earth by not only acting heavenly and godlike, but we are accelerating the process of bringing the entire world to its original state of the Garden of Eden and heaven on earth, and this time forever. God bless. So as usual, but I hope we're not taking it for granted, one, again, or a quick reminder, please make sure that you personally have at least a sacred Zohar, that's all the Aramaic of the entire Zohar, that you have all the various levels of protection and ability to transform, whether it's relationships, forgiveness, physical chaos, mental chaos, emotional chaos, financial chaos, whatever it may be. The light in various sections will help you specifically with those topics. The Pocket Zohar, of course, is the section of healing, Pinchas, although now if you look online at the Kabbalah.com or in a Kabbalah Center, we have a few more that are related to soulmates, protection from, quote, natural, or I like to call them unnatural disasters, prosperity, etc. You also have a pocket size for those too. But at least have this, give them to your family and friends, give them to people in the supermarket, that as you have a desire to share that light, you'll find a person who's open on the street, whatever. You see somebody, the police, you see firemen, you see somebody who's doing public service. At least offer. Hi, I'm with the Kabbalah Center. I'd like to give you this gift of a holy book for peace, protection, and blessings. 99% of the people today are happy to take it because they see the flood that's happening around the world. So, let's see. Yes. So those of you who would like to continue your support, I put the link there. Those of you who are new to this or haven't given yet, and would like to share and support this mission of removing the pain, suffering, and death, build an ARK worldwide. Because remember, some of you, that AI program is saying, well, if we build an ARK worldwide, won't all the negative behaving people come on the ARK and they'll survive? No, because in essence, to get on that ARK is the awakening of the light inside and the individual and collective transformation from the negative to the positive, from reactive to proactive. That's the ability to get on the ARK. So by spreading the Zohar, we're waking up the awareness and even the pain inside people of their negative actions. And if a person feels pain every time they do a negative action, but they feel a sense of peace and harmony when they do a transformational action, an action of God-like behavior, everybody's going to behave more God-like. Makes the world better, not only for us individually, but us collectively. So let's take a few minutes. I'd like to do this meditation. One of the 72 names, and if you're unfamiliar, what you see are 3 Hebrew letters. But the Kabbalists teach us the Hebrew letters, or Aramaic letters, just shine the light of the Creator. They are primordial. They came with us out of the endless world. And since eyes are the window to the soul, we have a direct pathway from the light that shines out of these nanoparticles of light, as the Rav called them, through our eyes to our soul, which contains the light of the Creator, and therefore activating greater and greater intensities of that light. And these nanoparticles, Yud, Zayin, Lamed, combine together to connect us to the power, heaven on earth. Heaven on earth. So just look at the shapes, remember the names, Yud, Zayin, Lamed. So I ask you to sit comfortably in your seat, feet flat on the floor, hands in your lap. Inhale the light of God through the breath, through your nose. Hold it for a moment to let that light infuse from head to toe, and then exhale through the mouth, allowing the release of tension, blockages, stress, the turmoil that may be going through your head now. Breathing in the light, hold the breath for a moment, exhale through the mouth. Bringing more and more light, allowing us to relax, greater sense of peace and serenity, greater perception of the infinite light all around us and the infinite light of the Creator within us. Feeling more and more of that power, that strength, the unconditional love of the light of the Creator, meaning it's shining on us 24/7, no matter what we have done, no matter what we or anyone on earth is doing. This infinite light of unconditional love and strength of transformation shines on everyone without exception. This light is the way to transform our darkness into light, the curses to blessings. So we envision Yud, Zayin, Lamed. See those 3 energy particles just above your head. See them shining with the infinite light of the Creator, vibrating with the power of heaven on earth, the true state of our perfection and the perfection and unity of the world in peace and harmony. And slowly allowing Yud, Zayin, Lamed to enter through the top of your head, shining its light of heaven on earth. Feel it as it passes from head to toe. Yud Zayin Lamed, purifying the thoughts in your head, purifying the emotions of your heart, purifying the reactive actions and behaviors that we've done up to now. Yud Zayin Lamed, activating the heavenly, godlike capabilities that we've been created with. That light of the Creator that's been implanted in our heart and our soul. Intensify it. Feel its power growing inside you. Feel the desire to enlighten the world. Bring the world onto the ARK of the Zohar. Peace and harmony and unity. Ask, open your heart and your mind. Yud Zayin Lamed, the light of the Creator awakening in you. Ask. Strengthen your desire for light, solutions, clarity, and guidance and support. And doing greater sharing actions of that light, emanating it out into your world, removing the darkness, revealing the blessings that are your God-given divine blessings. To accelerate our escape from chaos and bring heaven on earth from above into our lives and into the world collectively. Envision the Yud Zayin Lamed in your heart, in your soul. Feel a greater sense of unconditional love awakening in you. The love the Creator has for all humanity now awakening inside each of us towards all humanity. And together in unity, we beam a light, a beam of the Yud Zayin Lamed, heaven on earth light. Beam it out to the heart and soul of your family and friends. See it awakening the Creator in them. Feel them having a greater sense of awareness of the power of that light of the Creator and the ability to remove chaos and darkness. And now let's see it extend from their heart and soul out to every person's heart and soul, that we're sending through the spiritual one soul internet, Yud Zayin Lamed power, to wake up the sense of, the perception of, the feeling of the existence of heaven on earth, and therefore strengthening humanity's desire to make that manifest. Intensifying the light, the consciousness, the love we send through Yud Zayin Lamed on the spiritual internet. that there's a greater sense of urgency awakened in every person on earth to shine light into their darkness, to bring the removal of all darkness and the revelation, the uncovering of heaven on earth, uncovering the awareness of the truth. We are all one. And thereby acting with greater unconditional love. Love your neighbor as yourself, because they are. Yud Zayin Lamed, the world filled with this light and people harmonizing more and more with each other, with their own connection to their soul's light. That we remove in our time all the darkness and reveal all the true love we all hold for each other as beings of light, manifestations of the Creator in this world. Together we take one more deep breath, anchoring into our heart and soul the commitment to manifest heaven on earth by shining light 24/7. And as you exhale, slowly opening your eyes. Thank you for joining us. Have an amazing day, an amazing week, until we meet again. And remember, those of you who are newer, go to Kabbalah.com, peruse the wisdom, the tools, the support, the mission of the center. See what true Kabbalah is and how it can benefit you and how it has created miracles in millions of people's lives over the years. And I look forward to hearing from you, your miracles, your transformation. So write me here, write me, email, call the center. Let me know how your lives are improving through this wisdom, and whatever questions you may have, because that could be the next Spiritual Sunday. God bless. Thank you for joining us. If you liked what you saw, click the subscribe button so you'll be notified of future videos as we post them. Would also love to hear your comments and questions, whether it's about this video in particular or about the wisdom of Kabbalah as we teach it in the Kabbalah Center. If you'd like to learn more about various subjects, go to our website, www.kabbalah.com. We have thousands of articles and classes on various subjects within the wisdom of Kabbalah. Share this video with other people. If you were inspired and it can change your life, let's start changing thousands and thousands of people's lives around the world also. If you'd like to contribute in support of Spiritual Sunday and the projects of the Kabbalah Center, that link is also below. I wish you an amazing day, afternoon, evening, wherever you may be out there. And may God bless us all, that we awaken the light of the Creator, not only inside us to a higher level, but touching the heart and soul of every human being on earth with the light of the Creator.